What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's a new year, and we are back with the Par None podcast with my hosts, PJR Scratch Golf and the Golf Expert in the house. Lots has happened since the last time we all chatted. A lot has happened. We have equipment releases. We have PGA Tour season starts back up at the Sentry last week. Massive Tiger Woods news that we all kind of feared was coming, but actually is official coming. And then we got to obviously talk some live golf as well. So let's kick it off with equipment releases. Brady, I know that you just went to the Callaway launch event. So why don't you kick us off? Tell us about it. How was it? What did you think? Go.
Ready, set. All right.
Ready, no, set, go for it. Tell us. Now.
The AI smoke is legit. I loved it. I thought that the driver and woods felt phenomenal. They felt a little bit smoother, in my opinion, compared to last year. I felt like the mishits. I played the triple diamond all year, but the mishits were a little rocky. And from the testing that I was able to do, it wasn't like hundreds of shots or anything, but the mishits just felt a little bit better. So I'm excited for more testing. And then the irons actually are what I'm like even more excited about. What I'm most excited about, because they're the game improvement iron and they look so good. Like I would consider putting them in the bag because there's very little offset. The top lines are super thin. Like they do not look like a big old chunky game improvement iron. And I think that they're going to sell really, really well because they're very forgiving and easy to hit. So the irons are definitely.
I'm sorry. Opinion, I dropped something and it rolled across the room. That's what I'm shaking my head at, not at you.
I think that the irons are going to steal the show this year for game improvement irons.
Questions about the irons real quick, because I haven't seen them in person yet. To me, the images, they kind of remind me of the X-Hot Pros, but thinner. Is that kind of the look of them?
Hot Pros, yeah.
Remember the original X-Hot Pros?
Yeah, let me...
And then on top of it, too, do you feel like Callaway is finally getting away from their... Because and even for me, and I play Callaway, the reason why I struggled for so long to get into their irons is because I like that thinner look. And they've always been kind of rounded. Even my TCBs are a little bit round, but the advantage of the TCBs are they're very scrunched in. You know what I mean? Like heel to toe, they're not very long. So it kind of makes up for it. But I've always struggled with Callaway because of that kind of that chunky look. Do you feel like Callaway might have found a way to break away from it and still maintain the technology and the speed and X, Y, and Z?
It's a way different club than they've ever had. Because it's basically their newest game improvement club since the Rogue ST, because the Paradigm was more like a distance club. The Paradigm X was game improvement, but it looks completely different. It looks so good. I was surprised that they are a game improvement club. When I saw it, I was like, oh, this is the next version of the Paradigm. It's for a good player who wants more distance. They're a game improvement iron, and they look so good. Even the back, like they look really good at address. That's my favorite part. But even the back of the club, that kind of capped cavity, it looks really clean.
Yeah. So not hiding anything in the trunk kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I hit them in September, and I haven't been able to say anything until now because the date was at 1/4. So I hit them back in September, and everybody it was at the Callaway National Sales Deal. And everybody was just like, what is happening here? Like, it was... Because everybody... I mean, I was so big on Paradigm, and it was just like, oh, I have to wait now, 5 or 6 months to say anything or even talk about it. I'm never going to see this again. So I got to hit it for one day. I mean, I think... I agree with you. I honestly cannot believe they labeled them game improvement irons. I mean, I can because of the technology, but it's just it has to be the thinnest top lined game improvement iron by any manufacturer in history. I can't imagine, because I just like that their player distance. I mean, they almost kind of P790, P770 look to them as far as just that sleekness. I think in the 770 almost. a little bit longer blade length, but like still, they're pretty. They're gonna be. I mean, they're pretty good.
Gotta
Like
be easy
again,
to
same with
sell.
Brady. Like so good that I'm like, why am I making this game so difficult? Why don't I just play those? Put a graphite shaft on them and just have some fun.
It sounds like we're as curated experts here, it'll be easy to sell because you get a lot of those people on there like, oh, I want to play blades, or I like a thin top line. I'm like, well, what do you shoot? 97. I'm like, man, it's not happening, dude. Like, I'll sell you the dream if you want, but you're gonna hate yourself later on, man. So it sounds like this kind of a fitter's dream in the sense where it's like, oh, we can give you the aesthetic appeal while giving you the game improvement results.
And the price point's coming back for, I think, like $400 cheaper than the Paradigm was. Since it's not a forged face, it's a cast body, so $9.99 for the 7-club set.
Gotcha.
Which is crazy.
That's amazing. It amazes me how many manufacturers say forged, though, and it's just the face that's forged. Like, it used to be back in the day when you got a forged iron, like, no, you were getting a forged freaking head. Now it's like, oh, well, the face is forged. I'm like, that's not, I mean, it's the same, but it's not. Like, I see what you're doing, but like,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's marketing, right? They just want to hear that word. Like, buyers want to hear that word, and if they hear that word,
they're charging you
get $200 or $300 more.
They're charging you for a forged head, but giving you a forged face, and that's my issue with it. It's like, okay, like I respect the fact that the face is forged, but can we like not make it the price of like an actual completely forged iron? Like, you're clearly not forging the entire golf club. Like, you could probably save a couple $100 up for everyone, but I understand why they don't. You know.
Yeah. What did you think, Brady, about the like more, even though they're all labeled game improvement, what did you think about the more like super game improvement line, if you want to call it that? Like the HL or the Max D or the Max Fast, like I just think a lot of people who probably listen or again that we have on curated are that like I'm 96 to 115 score. They're going to fit into that more than they are even like the AI Smoke, though we can, or the Paradigm, or the Apex Pro, or other brands. Yeah. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on like that more like really game improvement iron or set all together.
The HL irons are what I expected the core irons to look like. They have the chunkiness to them, the thicker lines more offset. So they're definitely for the player that needs help with the slice and to get the ball up in the air. And then the Max Fast clubs, the driver and the irons are so light. Like I picked up the driver and it was almost weightless. It was crazy how light it is. The driver has a 21 gram grip in it, and I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought like 40 grams was the lightest grip. So crazy light, 40 gram shaft, and then a lighter weight head too. So it's so freaking light, and it's definitely going to help the player with the slow swing speed that needs that distance help.
Would you say this is like a Callaway offering of like a Zezio kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely the equivalent. Yeah, and
finally, I could not get Zezio to save my life. I topped every single one of them. I cannot say it's just too light. Like I just come up every single time. It was brutal.
You just have to swing with your left arm only.
Yeah, there you go. Like I was chipping today.
100%. Well, I also like not to like toot more of Callaway's horn, but like they're bringing the price down because even last year's with the Star, it's just like hard to convince. I mean, as far as like fitters and sellers, which is what we do a lot of, it's really, really hard to convince somebody to buy the Star for $700 when you could get the Paradigm with a pretty light shaft and a light grip for $600 or now $500. You can do the X. I mean, like I know there's a little different property there, but I'm just glad that like it's all going to come down and kind of be in that same family because I just think like how many people want to pay a premium price. I just don't know how much like how much of the Zezio doesn't have much of the market share. So I just think that's an interesting like final play for them to bring that price down.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially because most people playing those clubs, if they're not generating a lot of swing speed, they're not going to be shooting. Most of them probably aren't shooting low scores, or they're not competitive. They're not as invested in it as somebody, like I would say, probably like we are. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to say I'd spend $700 on a driver, but if everything lined up the right way and I saw the results were astronomically different, then I could probably talk myself into it. But I feel for like somebody that is going to be in a lightweight head and shaft and grip like that, you can probably makeshift a golf club that will have similar, if not the same results for a much better price point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And plus, people don't want to spend $700 on a driver. That's a set of irons for some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys? And I don't think any of us have hit them. I know that I haven't. But and what are your guys' thoughts on the QI 10, QI line, QI K, whatever it is called? But like, what are your guys' thoughts, top to bottom there?
I think it looks good. I'm kind of missed the red face. The red face was dope. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a tailor-made driver. I'm sure it's gonna be great. They say it's funny. I saw a meme on the internet that said instead of saying the shirt saying tailor-made, like your hat there, Ryan, it said temporary made. Like, and they're giving them a hard time. They're like, oh yeah, this one will last 10 rounds instead of 8 rounds, kind of thing. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure they've had to have figured that out by now. If they haven't, then dear God, save us, kind of thing. But it looks good. I'm sure it'll be great. I've heard the max head it's just unbelievably straight. Yeah. Like, it is like disturbingly straight. Like, it is hard to hit the standard head of the QI. You know what I mean? At least that's what I've heard. I haven't put hands on it yet. I know I will hit it. I'm already dead set on the Paradigm Smoke personally, but it looks good. I mean, TaylorMade doing TaylorMade things. I'm kind of waiting for the carbon face and the fairway woods. I was thinking maybe it'd happen this year, so I guess we'll have to wait another generation or two.
They said that they're never going to do it.
Really?
That's their claim right now. Yeah, is that the gains aren't worth putting carbon. They don't see any difference of titanium versus carbon in the small face of fairway woods. But
gotcha.
They might go back on that down the road.
Yeah. When they found a way to do it, they do it.
When they need to change something and everything else has already been changed. Yeah.
They're damn good marketers.
They look sick. I like how the carbon covers the entire crown, so there's like not that titanium bar anymore. I haven't seen it in person, but the online pictures look pretty cool. And Morikawa put the max in the bag, which is insane. Like,
insane.
So yeah, I'm super excited to hit them. They look sick.
He's not a distance player though. I was watching like the TaylorMade things with like him and Rory and Tiger and all those guys, and they were having a long drive contest, and him and Tiger are both sitting back. They're like, no, like, we'll do it, but like, we're not going to win it. Yeah. Colin is definitely known for being a ball striker, but his strength is being an iron player. He needs to be in play. You get him in play, and you give him a 6 iron or less. I mean, hell, you can give him a 4 iron, but give him a 6 iron or less into that green. He's going to be competitive. You know what I mean? So if he can hit, 12 fairways around, he's going to be somewhat in contention every single week. You know what I mean? His irons don't really fade. Oh, he plays a face. His irons really don't fade, but like, they don't. His ball striking is phenomenal, kind of thing. So I can see why he's playing the max set. And actually, I was talking to Ari from Curated about what a lot of the tour pros play. He goes, "You'd be surprised how many of them actually play the max heads." Everyone focuses on that top tier player like Rory and Tiger, these excellent ball strikers that all play the low spinning heads. He goes, majority of the guys on tour actually surprisingly do not play that, because they would much rather be in play and lose 10 yards and then play the low spin head and be all over the place. So I thought that was really interesting too. But we only see like the top players and what they, but we never hear about what the 57th in the world is playing, So
yeah.
I always do wonder that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brady. You go.
I was just going to comment on that super fast. At Callaway, I asked them how many of the guys, what percentage of tour is going to put it in the triple diamond versus the max head. He said 100% triple diamond on tour.
So from what I've heard about the diamond, though, I'm curious what that would have been like 5 years ago if you would have asked him that question.
Probably
them now. Yeah, they got rid of the jailbreak tech. Now they have a sweeter from every spot kind of thing, and it's if the claims are true, and you're telling me that my toe hit is going to be more, which I hit it off the toe a lot, that my little toe hook is not going to be hooking, it's going to be drawing, and it's going to go almost the same distance as the center of the face. Yeah, give me the diamond. Because I went with the max head with the Paradigm because I was a little too squirrely with the diamond, and I was like, I already hit the ball long enough. An extra 5 to 7 yards and being in the rough 4 extra holes around isn't worth it to me. But you're telling me now that those 4 extra holes that I'd be in the rough are no longer there? Like, well, sign me up.
Yeah. The smoke triple diamond's a lot different than last year. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Ryan.
No, you're good. I mean, to piggyback off that, I even thought last year's Triple Diamond was pretty forgiving. I mean, when I was fitting people in person, like there was a number of like even older gentlemen or older players that we would put in the Triple Diamond head just because that was getting them the numbers they needed, and they were not seeing, you know, a loss of forgiveness. So I thought for a low spinning head, even last year's paradigm was really, really good compared to what you're saying, like what we've had in years past.
Oh, the
And
Rogue
now,
SP
the
Diamond was
small experience that I've had with the Triple Diamond Smoke, it's even better, which was hard to believe. Like I was a little skeptical before I hit it in September because I was just like, I can't imagine. Like it's hard to imagine a better driver than that was because it was just so much better than the drivers that I had played before that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to keep this in the bag for like 3 seasons. I feel like I don't think they're going to make enough. I just couldn't see them making enough gains to get me out of it. And like, boy, is my face red because I'll definitely probably put the Smoke in the bag. I would think I'm going to hit everything. You know, Paradigm had my heart last year, but I'm not so sold on like being like a certain brand that I'm not open to like, hey, is QI10 better? Is TS, TSRSR4 better? I don't know. We'll see. So I can't remember what my other point was before we talked about that, so it's no big deal. But anyway, back to equipment. I think like those are the 2 big reveals. You know, I did see that. I think we all saw that Cleveland is coming out with a new launcher line, which looks pretty sweet. I mean, I know none of us are going to put it in the bag, but like...
I love hitting the launchers. I would never game them because I lose distance with them, but they are freaking amazing.
Yeah,
like
fun.
Anybody that comes on the platform that's looking for a driver with a low price point, I'm like, just hit Cleveland. They're like, but it's Cleveland. I'm like, dude, just hit the freaking driver. And they all come back going like, oh my gosh, it's so straight and it goes so high. I'm like, like... Duh, that's why. Like it is very hard to spray. Like even if I slice one, it looks more like a push.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're unbelievable golf clubs for like mid-high handicappers. They're freaking unreal. The fairway woods are phenomenal. And actually, I think the launcher irons last year or 2 years ago, whenever they came out, for a game improvement iron, kind of going. You were talking about with the new Smoke line. I thought they looked great for being a game improvement iron, and especially with them being a little bit longer heel to toe, which most amateurs miss horizontally, not vertically. Like Cleveland knows what they're doing. They make great clubs for their demographic. And I wish more people would be willing to accept that. But everyone's like, oh, I want to play Titleist. I'm like, you're not going to appreciate it. Like, it's like giving a $500 bottle of scotch to like a kid on his 21st birthday. Like, he's not going to know. Like,
no, I mean, I think that's completely fair. I also think that I don't think enough people know that like Strixon and Cleveland are married. And so when they, like a lot of people are starting to hear that Strixon's really getting up there, especially in their iron play.
Yeah.
But people just don't consider like, I'm sure they're sharing that information with Cleveland. It's the same company. So like, I think Cleveland gets slept on a bit.
So does Strixon.
Yeah, no, they do for sure still. They just don't have like you said, TaylorMade's a great marketing company and they just don't have, I don't think, the power or the resources to market like these big companies do. So I think, they get left out for sure. Another one like that too for me last year was the Wilson Dynapower. Like that thing was awesome.
The carbon
was
awesome. Phenomenal.
And nobody's willing to try it because of the name associated with it, which is a shame because it was so good. Like once I tried it out, here's the crazy thing is my dad has been a Mizuno iron player his whole life. He's 73 years old. My whole life, he's only had Mizuno irons, and he came to visit and liked the Wilson so much, and I had like stiff shafts in it, and he hit it. He liked it so much that we reshafted the whole set, and now he's using full Wilson driver through gap wedge, which is just like unheard of because he had, like top end stuff, and he's like, oh, this feels better than the Mizuno that I swing now. Sorry, Mizuno. Cover your ears. But he's a good, and he's not a bad guy. Like he knows his stuff. He's not just some like, hacker off the side of the road. So I couldn't, that was a testament for me just to be like, if he's willing to go there, then that means something because he's only played like top end equipment my whole life.
Yeah.
So
that carbon, actually, I liked it more than I liked the Titleist. And that was with their stock shaft in it. Like I had the Titleist TSR 2 and I had it pimped out for me and I hit the shit out of it. Don't get me wrong. But then they gave me the Dynapower. stock shaft, everything. And I was flying it further than I was hitting the Titleist. I was like, what?
Man.
I was blown away by it. It was, and Ryan
club.
told me he hit both of them. He was just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It was such a good driver. It was my runner-up to Paradigm. And I never thought I'd say Wilson would be a runner-up to anything than with drivers. Irons, they make the sexiest blades on the planet, other than Mira. Sorry. They have the old school little dotted pattern down them, too. Oh, God, I love those blades. Ugh. Still want them. Ugh.
Well, all right. I don't know am I missing any equipment news? I mean, I know Cobra comes out tomorrow. Mizuno has irons, but there wasn't a ton there.
I think Cameron's going to release some new putters, but I'm not 110% on that one. I just saw pictures of it, but
I saw the new Phantoms. Yeah,
the new Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so you saw it too. Okay, so it wasn't. It's the internet, so you never really know sometimes what you're coming across when you're scrolling.
Yeah. Well, and if you listen to this podcast, you know that we'll have way more gear news when we go to our summit. We'll hit everything. You'll see reels. You'll see YouTube coming out from us. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff. So that's just kind of when we hit our stuff is in early March. We'll get all of that out. I wish we had sooner, but we have what we have, unfortunately. But there'll be stuff here and there too. But we'll talk about it as it goes.
If you're going to the PGA Show demo day, if they're all there, there's a good chance actually we can get our hands. It depends on who all is going to be there. We can get our hands on all of it then. So
yep, I will be there. Yep.
Ditto.
Okay. So last week's Sentry Tournament, right? Chris Kirk with the win. Another win for Callaway. Win for AI Smoke. We're tracking that stuff. Always interesting to see what clubs win. Although, again, I know we've had this debate before. I'm a little iffy how much it matters at that level, but we can hear neither here nor there, really. I know, PJR, this is where you're going to shine because I know I didn't watch it. I know Brady didn't get a chance to watch it. I tried to watch it, and we are trying to sell our house, and for some reason my kids just would not allow me to have a second to watch it. So why don't you fill us in on the Sentry Tournament of Champions? We know who won. I really wanted to watch it because Kisner was doing the commentary, and I missed the whole thing. So
it's exactly what you expected it to be. Like, it was fantastic. I can't wait to see him in there again. No, the Sentry was a great tournament. Scheffler's putting, I swear to God, if that guy could putt 50% better than what he is now, I don't think anybody would ever beat him. He was missing 12-foot putts, 10-foot putts, and they're like burning edges the entire time. Like, he should have won it. He really should have. He did everything right, except he didn't make. In like 4 holes, he could have been. I think within 3 holes, he should have been 4 under. He had 2 birdie putts and an eagle putt that you would expect a pro to make, and he didn't make any of them. You're just like, holy shit, dude. But Bhatia, love seeing him play well. I watched like a swing analysis of this kid. It is unreal what he can do with his hips. His hips are cleared miles before that head gets to the ball. It is awesome to see. The kid generates so much speed. He went to the long putter. He was putting beautifully. I guess he just choked on Sunday. Like, they didn't even show him on TV. So, it was one of those fun where I was like, oh, here we go. And then you don't see him till like the 16th hole because he made a putt or something like that. At one point, though, they had like 21 people within 3 strokes of the league going on Sunday. So it was a fun tournament to watch. It was going down the stretch. It was kind of go back against Sahith Tagala up there too. I'm still Chris Kirk won it. Second win since being sober. And, he won the Honda last year. And he kind of, yes, it was a win, but there was kind of that gray area where they're like, oh, well, it wasn't against the world's best. It wasn't an elevated event, which I remember when he won that tournament, I was pissed off because they did not give him the credit that he deserved after everything that he's been through. And then now he just came out on top. And he looked like on Sunday like he couldn't miss a shot. He was clutch all day. He's that Freddie Couple swing. It was beautiful. Couldn't be happier for him. It was good. It's always fun watching Hawaii because they have the drone that follows the golf ball. And some of these golf balls are rolling for like 35 seconds kind of thing. Spieth was actually kind of in it for a little bit too, but it's, Spieth is streakier than hell. So you never know what you're going to get there.
Yeah, but he only finished like 2 back, right?
I think so. Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at the leaderboard now, but yeah, he was up there. He was touch and go, but like, it's just Spieth. You know what I mean? I want to see him get in the winner's circle again, but I feel like, I don't know if he'll ever be as consistent as he used to be. That's the problem. Yeah. But I think he was actually putting, looking at the hole a couple times again, which I thought was interesting because I was amazed that he even stopped that to begin with, considering he won 2 majors doing that. And then he's like, "Oh, I don't need to do it anymore." I'm like, "What? Why would you change that at all?" You know what I mean? So hell, I do it. It works amazing. 6 feet and in, stare at the hole when you're putting. It'll change everything. Everything.
All right. I'll go with you on that. I mean, I can't lose any strokes at this point.
You're like, it can't get worse, so you know.
This is far less important, but for a second we have to talk about Jason Day and his horrendous switch to Malbon.
I love it.
Love my what?
Yeah, I do.
That's just, I love what it represents in golf, and I think Brady and I were texting about this. I love what it represents in golf, but it's horrendous to look at. So
I like loud things. So I think it's cool. I think it's cool what he's doing. I think it's cool that he snubbed Nike. I think it's cool that we're going to start, I think 2024, 2025, we're really going to see a big shift in apparel in golf. You saw Xander switch to, I can never remember the name of the brand.
Yeah,
I have shirts by them. I have their logos. I can't remember the name of the brand.
Is it like Dealax?
No, it's not Dealax. No, they're like an Instagram. Ryan, look it up. You have your computer. I don't know where my phone is.
Yeah, sure. The name too.
Yeah, but I like that he's doing something different, that he's doing what he wants to do, and that he didn't take the money. Like having the streetwear in golf, like there's some boundaries that need to be broken down in golf. It's just, it is what it is. And I think this is the beginning of some of those boundaries kind of getting broken down a little bit. Like there's nothing where like, and Jason Day talked about it when he was pissed off at Nike. He's like, I get on the tee box and I look over and see somebody wearing the same exact thing as me, which by the way is a huge ball drop on Nike's end. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time though, it's just, I think golf has gotten very cookie cutter-ish. And I think we need to break away from it before golf locks themselves back into that, oh, well, that preppy look. You know what I mean? Like it's loud. Yeah. But I think it's cool that he's doing something that no one else is doing. I like the pants, the style. It's different, you know, but I'm into fashion and stuff like that. So everyone's giving him a hard time for it, but hey, the fact that he's wearing it, good for him, man. Like I'm happy for the guy. He's playing well too, on top of it. I would love to see him win a tournament in that apparel. Hell, a major in it too. That'd be sick. But it's just to me, I just like the big middle finger to the big brands is what it is. That's what I'm enjoying.
I like the switch to these smaller apparel brands. I think it's because I also like loud things and different things. I just think that different thing, it doesn't look good.
You were too far over the line.
Like,
yeah, I would say that I am also into fashion, but unlike you, I'm into good fashion, like fashion that actually looks good. So, yeah, that's fine though. I mean, everybody can be into fashion, but you just don't understand what actual fashion is.
Like, good. I'm more on the side of like the Van Rooyen. Is that Eric Van Rooyen? I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
Like the jogger, the tight jogger pants, like that's different. I like those look cool to me. I know some people hate those, but I'm not so big on the baggy ones.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. I totally think it's, by the way, Xander's with Dissects Golf, it looked like.
Dissects.
Thank you.
Okay.
You were close with Dale Lag. You're like, yeah,
gotcha. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's awesome that, although, I mean, I think Nike Golf is great. I don't know why it's cool to F Nike Golf, but, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to see other brands out there. I do agree with you. I think it gets boring when it's just like, this is Nike, this is Adidas, this is FootJoy Titleist, and that's all we get. This is Under Armour. I do think that gets a little boring. So I just think Jason Day. Here's the thing about fashion for me is like it has to be practical. So like wearing a scarf indoors is not practical. It has to fit you. Like it has to fit your body. Like why wear stuff that doesn't fit? That doesn't make any sense to me. You can have loud and things, but just like pants that look like they were made for somebody who's like 6'9" and 345 pounds, like. That's not fashion. That's just not knowing your body type.
Dude, Jinko jeans are coming back. Okay,
that's embarrassing. You should. I'm editing that out.
I owned a pair of Jinkos, so I have no shame.
I'm editing that out too.
They were awful hacky sack pants, though.
What are we talking about right now? Jinko jeans and hacky sack.
Dude, that's high school for me, dude. That was awesome.
Oh, was also getting shoved in lockers a big thing for you in high school?
Yeah, no, I got beat up a lot. I didn't get beat up a lot. I got pushed around and bullied a lot. Is what it was.
Oh, that's not funny, but you're just like, yeah, I got beat up a lot.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
I hung out with the kids outside playing hacky sack and participating in now legal extracurricular activities.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, oh, man. Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue, I suppose. Well, wait. Do we want to do our picks now, or do you want to say that for later?
I say we do it at the end. I say we close with the picks.
Cool.
Okay. Close with the picks. All right. Perfect.
Might change.
Yeah, much more interesting. Well, not interesting. I think like bigger brand news is that Tiger Woods splits from Nike, which we all kind of like. That was kind of the rumor, but then it's official that he's done with Nike. So I'd love to get your guys' take on like, what does that mean? What do you guys think is next? I mean, obviously none of us know because he's so tight-lipped on things, but like, yeah, I mean, I think it needs to be talked about. I mean, it may be the biggest brand partnership of any athlete and maker ever, besides maybe Jordan.
No, there was it Federer that broke away from Nike as well? There's a huge tennis. I think it was a tennis player.
Federer was with Nike and now has the RF brand, kind of like the Tom Brady brand.
Yeah, I think that's what T-Dub is doing. I think he's going to Tiger. Is he going to? But the thing is, who's going to make his clothes for him? Is it going to be underneath Nike?
Yeah, we were looking at the Jordan. We were talking about apparel last night and how the TW brand is so big and gonna be so big no matter what he does. But Jordan makes like $5.5 million a day on Jordan. He makes like some couple billion, $3 billion a year on it. So yeah, he makes like $3 to $5 million a day on Jordan. So that is the biggest apparel partnership. Companies aren't going to do that anymore because Jordan's mom like negotiated that deal back in the 80s or so.
Yeah.
So apparel brands aren't going to do that anymore. But yeah, it's crazy. I think that he's going to go to Grayson, and the reason why I have thought that is because that's what Charlie was wearing. I think that was like a little sneak peek of what's coming with Tiger, but Charlie could have been just wearing it because of JT does, since it's like his little brother deal. I don't know. I think he's gonna go Grayson though, even though that would be another smaller brand getting into the golf world. It would change a lot for them. Their stuff is gonna blow up if wherever he goes, their stuff is gonna blow up.
So JT and Charlie being with Grayson and Tiger having his own line through Grayson would make sense. I still think that is going to come down through TaylorMade and G4 though. And that's just because of how much, if you looked at their LinkedIn and everything like that, the positions that they're hiring for right now, they're making a big push in apparel. And it doesn't make sense to make a big push into hiring for apparel if you don't have somebody lined up to back it up for you. Like, you know, like we're gonna be like, oh, G4. Well, who's gonna wear it? You know what I mean? So, and I think they're also going to start absorbing the Nike players because everyone follows Tiger. So I don't know how long Rory's deal is, or Tommy's, or Colin's deal, or Colin's with Adidas. But I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. I think what TaylorMade's gonna do is gonna be similar to what like Travis Matthew is with Callaway. And then they're all going to have their own brands underneath the G4 flag. Kind of like to have their individual irons underneath TaylorMade. That is my bet. Now, if they go to Grayson, I would. That is the most. That seems like the most obvious one to me. I'm taking a long shot here, but it just makes sense to me that G4 or TaylorMade is hiring for G4 apparel. Tiger's talking about starting. Or the rumor mill is he's starting his own brand. Where would he go for that? If he could umbrella it all underneath TaylorMade, then it seems to make more sense that way, you know. But again, we don't know. Hell, he could go to Adidas. I don't think that that's going to happen. But, you know, we don't. He's so tight-lipped. You just never know with him, you know. So my vote is he's going to go underneath the G4 flag and have his own apparel line. And then they're going to get other athletes. They're going to start apparel lines underneath G4 just like him.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be. I wonder too, though, is he never was, you know, he was wearing a FootJoy shoe for 2 years. So I wonder if he just goes to G. It'd be a weird switch to go to G4 after FootJoy. It was FootJoy and Nike, and then to go to a third thing, I think would be interesting. So I wonder if FootJoy's in the mix just for shoes. Obviously, he's not going to go Titleist FootJoy, but
No.
I feel like Tiger's a different animal. He's not bound by the same rules as everybody else. So like he could get a FootJoy shoe deal and then a TaylorMade. I mean, I know other people do that, but he just isn't bound by the same rules. Other people, if you're going to play TaylorMade, you're going to play TaylorMade head to toe or whatever it is, where he can pretty much do whatever he wants. I agree with you, though. I would not be surprised if it's under TaylorMade's umbrella and TaylorMade just grows their stuff. Though I do not see other golfers making lines under G4. I just don't think anybody has. And I could be wrong, and maybe like time will tell. But I'm gonna buy TW gear wherever he lands, but I'm not gonna buy Rory McIlroy gear, or I'm not gonna buy Scotty Scheffler gear.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just doesn't interest me, and I don't know how much of the golfing world it does interest. So I just can't see those guys getting their own apparel lines.
I can see someone like Rory doing it because the way he dresses and the way he's built. I can see him selling apparel. And honestly, because the big reason why I like Nike was because of Tiger, but it was also very much because of Rory. You know what I mean? Because I have a similar build to him. He's just a little bit taller than me. You know what I mean? Like the way. Tiger's built differently, all right? Like he just built a little bit differently. You know what I mean? So Rory's a little bit more relatable, I think. But the only reason why my vote is on that is because they have the custom irons underneath them. Nobody else is doing it. And what better way to give some, with the whole power struggle in the PGA Tour and all that, what better way than to give players their own line of apparel as well and give them a stake in it as well? You know what I mean? As they're trying to funnel money into all these PGA Tour professionals, maybe that's the next thing that they're going to do.
Yeah, although you cannot buy anybody else's line of irons but Tiger's. Like those are all prototypes, but they've never come to market.
True. You're right. But what I'm saying is like TaylorMade, I remember a couple years ago, they were talking very much about how they wanted everything to go custom. Mm-hmm. And I remember us as fitters were going like, oh, this because our 2-week buy and try, we're like, that's gonna screw that up. But it seems like they're really trying to make it more of a, I want to say a vanity brand, but they're trying to make it a very, very high end kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I could see G4 making a shoe for Tiger. Yeah. I don't know why Nike didn't. I don't understand that. I would love for that to come out because that made zero sense to me. Like I feel like Nike should have done everything and anything for Tiger. And then we're missing the obvious here. TW, he just starts wearing exclusively underneath the Nike flag. Why not? Because his farewell was very, very vague. Even though Nike kind of came out and said that was a hell of a good round, there's still the door still creaked open a little bit to say like, well, maybe he's just going full bore on the TW brand here on out, kind of thing. I mean, it's a long shot, but like it's a valid argument. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's interesting. The good round thing that could have been like the Saturday round is done now. Let's start the Sunday round. Like I didn't even think about that.
Exactly. Yeah, the door is still creaked open for Nike to be a part of it, especially with Fleetwood. So is Fleetwood rocking the new Nike shoes? That tells me that Nike is not leaving golf like I originally had thought they were going to. So if Nike's still going to be in it and you're losing Tiger, they're going to have significantly less pull. Like their market share is going to go down significantly without Tiger there. And that's just like you just said, Ryan, wherever TW lands, that is what I'm buying. And I guarantee there's a million of you saying that, you know what I mean? So is Nike really going to let that go? I mean, you can't, he's your cash cow. You can't, Nike Golf will inevitably not be as big immediately. The moment Tiger goes, yeah, no, I'm with G4 or I'm with Grayson, Nike is immediately, that stock is going to shoot straight down.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I just don't understand how it could have. I want to know. I hope they talk about it at some point because, like, what has to go on for Nike to drop, for either Nike to drop Tiger or Tiger to say, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, I don't know what could have happened for that to happen in the first place. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't understand him not being a part of Nike in the first place, unless they're totally getting out of the golf business. But like you said, then they put out new shoes. So is it just going to be shoes? I don't know. It's just wild to me. It's the whole thing is wild that Tiger Woods and Nike would not just be like he would be buried in his Sunday red. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I think he'll still rock the Sunday red too.
No,
Also,
I know, but I meant the Nike red.
but I also heard the fact that Nike's not going to stop making stuff, but it's going to be absorbed underneath the Dunlop Strixon, that umbrella, and they're going to be the ones kind of pushing it out there. Like Nike's going to kind of fall underneath them instead. And I've actually heard that from numerous people.
Yeah.
And one of the claims is like, no, this has already been done. Like, you guys just don't know about it yet. Like, this is coming up from like high up reps kind of thing. Then again, person could have been completely full of it. So who knows?
Yeah,
but...
I mean, that's not completely, like out of the, like unprecedented because, like when Mikey was making golf balls, they were just at the Bridgestone plant with a Nike stamp on them.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time. I don't know. I guess I just want to, again, I want to know the business because why would, this is going to sound really bad, but why would Nike lower itself to Strixon Cleveland's, like of all the people to make their clothes, Strixon Cleveland doesn't make clothes.
Well, and then now they do. They get the Nike thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm not sorry. That wasn't directed at you as much as just like, what is happening? It doesn't make sense.
No, I know. But also from what I've heard, though, is Nike's not making money in golf. Like, as far as like, everyone thinks Nike golf like is a big thing, but apparently financially it's not a win for them. You know what I mean? From everything that I've heard, it's not what it used to be, Yeah. So
he's not much of a cash cow then, I guess.
He's their only hope. Let's put it that way. Because honestly, you take Tiger away from Nike and golf is...
Yeah, from golf, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. It's just no one cares anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the Strixon thing plays out with Nike, because if Nike could get Matsuyama in their clothes, that opens up like the major Asian market, which is huge.
Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely right. Yeah. And then they no longer put them out there in Asics and stuff like that. Not hating on Asics, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, we're like we all agree here. But now all of a sudden, the Nike is coming from them instead, like kind of like the Bridgestone and the golf ball kind of thing. Like it's gonna say Nike, but you're really buying Strixon or Dunlop the entire time.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But I mean, that could be part of it. Maybe Tiger is going to go do his own thing, and Nike knew that he was going to go do that. So they decided to sell out all their apparel underneath the Dunlop umbrella. And then it's going to be like a Bridgestone to Nike golf ball situation with the apparel to the Nike apparel. And, it could be like that.
It'll be interesting. It's exciting.
They're going to ask him in the interview, why did you leave Nike? And he's going to give you the most BS Tiger answer ever. I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah. I just can't wait to see what he's wearing. Like, I want to know what he's wearing. I want to know who's his caddy going to be. Like, I want to know what he's going to look, it's crazy. I'm just like on the edge of my seat. Like, who's he's going to caddy? What is he going to wear? That's all I want to know.
I want Stevie back.
It'll be a fun year.
What's that?
Not going to happen. Stevie's not coming back.
I want Stevie back.
I'm sorry.
I'm dying on this hill.
Okay, last thing we got to talk about before we wrap up and make our picks is I'd love to get your guys' take on the whole. I mean, like, I know, whatever. We talk about Liv. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this whole Rory, the interview with Rory that is out there now, where he literally has just flipped a 180, right? I know he's getting a lot of hate for it, and I know, PGR, you have a very strong opinion about this, so we're going to get to you. But I'd love to get your guys' takes on it because I think it's interesting. And, and I know PGR is going to bring up this point, and I'll let him go off in a minute, of course, when you get more information, you're allowed to change your mind. Like, that's part of, growing as a human being. So it's like, I had this amount of information, and I was against it, and now I have this amount of information, and I'm for it. Is it that, or is it now I can't stop it, so it's like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. I think it's interesting. So I don't know if we want to let PJR blow the lid off and then follow up, or if we want to give Brady a chance to talk before there is no more chance to talk on this topic.
I'll go quick.
Brady, you go.
I think I agree with what you just said, that if you can't beat them, join them. It feels like that's more of what it was, because he was so against them, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of new information that he has now since then. I don't think a lot has changed. it all kind of confuses me, to be honest, because I think there's a lot that nobody knows. Like, only a few people in the world actually know what the heck is going on. So it seems to me like a more fine, it's gonna happen, so I'm gonna make the best of it type thing. But go ahead, PJR.
So, oh gosh, I have like a million thoughts just like running through me right now. I think it's a presentation of new information, and I think it has a lot to do with Jay Monahan and the way the PGA Tour was doing, because they didn't even come to the table whenever the whole LIV thing came. Like, there was no conversation with LIV Golf. That never happened from Jay Monahan. I actually watched this long podcast with Bryson and the one kid from Good talking about LIV Golf and everything like that, and it was very eye-opening to how it really went down, and how they're like, no, they would not talk with us. The PGA Tour had no conversations with LIV. So that tells me right there that all the information that the tour pros were receiving, guys like Rory and everyone like that, it was coming from Jay Monahan. Well, at this point in time, I think we can all agree that Jay Monahan is a little bit dishonest and he has his own agenda. Can we all agree on that a little bit? Like, the guy's kind of a piece of shit, to be honest with you. I can't stand him. So Rory, I mean, and just think of this as if this has ever happened to you, because this has happened to me, actually. And I'm not going to name drop here, where you get really close with somebody that's higher up above you. You know what I mean? And they kind of take you in a little bit, and like, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, you know what I mean? Like, all of those things. And then it turns out that you're being funneled certain information while not being told other information. So I think the only information that Rory had was coming from Jay Monahan and what we were seeing on the news and all that other stuff. And then once the merger, quote unquote, happened, everyone was blindsided, even Tiger. So if Tiger didn't know, Rory sure as hell didn't know. So all of a sudden, all this information starts to come out. And even me, I changed my opinion on it, because I was like, oh, wow, you guys suck. Like, I didn't realize like how unbelievably you were gatekeeping and all these things that you guys were doing. And you were also spinning this web of drama and lies that I thought was coming from LIV, but it was actually coming from the PGA Tour. So I think it comes down to everyone's pissed off at Monahan. The fact that they had to bring Tiger on to level it out just shows you how rocky it got. You know what I mean? So, because Tiger doesn't want to deal with that. I guarantee you he doesn't want to deal with it, but I think he stepped up because he knew he had to. I think it's new information. I don't think Rory will come out and say anything bad about the PGA Tour, but I think deep down he knows he got hosed. I think deep down he knows that they pulled the wool or the shade over his eyes and fed him a bunch of BS, and now he looks like an asshole. I think he feels like that. He's like, man, I said a lot of things that weren't true because I was told they were true. Mm-hmm. That's how my take is on it. And it's not that I'm against the PGA Tour here, because I'm not. And that's because I love the PGA. I just do not like Jay Monahan. The fact that he did the merger deal on his own. The fact that he tried to leverage the PIF funds to save the DP World Tour. The dude is that guy, he's just a toxic, terrible human being for golf. And if he was the one feeding information to Rory, then of course, Rory's going to do what he did with that information. That's what we all did. Did we not? Did we not all say the same things about LIV and all the players doing and all of that stuff based on the information and the speeches that Jay Monahan was giving in the PGA Tour? That's where our narrative came from. Mm-hmm. And all the information started to leak out a little bit. And then all of a sudden, we were going, maybe we'll check out LIV. I don't know. All of a sudden, like, everyone's changing. It's not just Rory. So point the finger at Rory. Like, oh, he did a 180. Dude, everyone's doing a 180 on LIV right now. Everyone is. And it's all because the PGA Tour shit the bed. You know what I mean? So it's not just Rory. Like, everyone wants to point the finger at Rory because he was the one in the soapbox because Jay put him there. Mm-hmm. It could have been anybody. That could have been anybody. It could have been, it wasn't, but it could have been Cantley. It could have been Schauffele. It could have been Scheffler. It could have been anybody that happened to. I think, I'm not going to say Rory was a victim here, but I think he got conned. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. Certainly could have been. Still, it's just odd to hear him like, sorry, go ahead, bud. You go, buddy.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, I think you should go.
Okay. I don't even know what I really want to say. Just that I agree with you, although I think I don't think you're letting Rory off the hook necessarily, but I just think like Rory's a big boy too. So it's like, and I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't watch that full interview, and so maybe he did this, but like just like kind of did you like take responsibility and then just be like, yeah, it is what it is now, which might be what he did. It just is so odd to see like the mouthpiece, and like you said, it could have just been all like Monahan pulling strings from behind, but it's just like it looks really bad on. I think it looks bad on Rory. It looks bad regardless if you don't, like I'm not going to go online and like tear him apart, but I do think it looks bad for the guy to just be so like anti this, and then in such a quick turnaround, almost because like one of his buddies went over there. He's like, "Well, I could have it fine. It's good. It was good for John. Great business move, John." But like,
he did leave at the right
he's
time.
on a national, a Netflix documentary telling Phil to go like fuck himself. So like,
but Phil was running his mouth and saying Phil was being Phil.
Yeah, John doesn't run his mouth for sure.
I know Ron doesn't
run his mouth, but at the same time, it's like is there really a difference? Ron might be a nicer guy, but at the end of the day, is there any difference from what Phil did? Just from the like going to live, you can talk about other things. Is there really that much of a difference between what Phil Mickelson did and what Jon Rahm did, besides the time that they did it?
I think just the point in their career that they were in has a lot to do with it. Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it. Because before you look at everybody that went to live, it wasn't a threat. Who went to live at first that you're like, I mean, other than DJ, Bryson, and Koepka, and actually Cameron Smith, that broke my heart because I wanted to see what he's going to do in the PGA Tour. I was watching him for like 4 years. Then he won the Open. I was like, finally. He's like, I'm going to live. I'm like, no. Like, but Bryce or Phil and Rory have had a bit of a history anyways. They've always kind of clashed a little bit. But even for someone like, I mean, if Phil, all these people have also come out and said it was very mature of Rory. I mean, what's Rory's choices here? To come out and do a 180 and admit that he was wrong, or to sit here and die in a hill that he's not going to win on.
Right.
Either way, he's going to look like an asshole to somebody. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Like what he has two really bad choices here, and I think he made the right choice. The right choice was like, let's just get this over with, and let's get back to the best people competing against each other again, which ultimately is all I really care about. So I think he made the right choice. I understand how it looks, but I think if you dig a little bit deeper, I don't think it's what the surface level looks. What it looks like up here is different from, I think, what's really happening behind the scenes.
Brady, what were you gonna say?
I don't really have many thoughts on it now. I don't like live. I don't like where the money comes from. I don't like the pointless tournaments that they play.
Yeah.
I don't like that everybody jumps over there because they say they're going to grow the game and there's hardly any eyeballs on it. It's not growing the game. I don't see myself ever getting into it unless they really change the format and make it something that I would want to watch. But I still would probably do the same and take $600 million and go over there. But that's, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because I don't even think they have a schedule for this year yet. Do they? Did that come out yet?
They do. No, it had. I think it had.
Oh no! Because I don't. So interesting thing about the interview that I watched with Bryson is he was saying lining up courses in the United States. The PGA Tour is telling them if you host a live event, you'll never have a USGA qualifying event or anything again.
Nice.
The PGA Tour are trying to blackball them out of the United States. And as far as you saying they don't have eyes on them, here in the States they do not, but internationally everyone loves it. Which was the point of the game, was to grow it overseas more. The game doesn't need much growth in the United States. It's everywhere here.
So they do have a schedule, but there are really no courses attached.
Yeah.
So they have Mayakoba, Las Vegas, Florida, but it says TBD.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a Dallas one at the end of September, a Chicago, Greenbrier, Nashville, Houston. So there are some cities, but I don't see courses attached to them.
Yeah, because they're not, the PGA Tour is telling people, hey, if you do this, you're never going to host a PGA event, USGA event, not even an amateur event kind of thing.
Which I'm confused by because, Which
I'm not for because
now I'm confused. Why are they telling them this if they're in a framework agreement? Somebody explain this thing to me. They
haven't agreed on anything yet. That's why they pushed back the merger.
Why I said I'm confused.
Well, I know they haven't agreed on anything, but there's an agreement to have an agreement. So why would you be blackballing them with this hand while you're like, let's try to get a deal done with this.
I don't know. Maybe we should ask Jay effing Monahan that question. The same guy that freaking said he's going to penalize Rahm for going to live after they already announced the merger. How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
also,
this is Jay Monahan being an effing child. He doesn't want anybody else to play with his toys in the damn sandbox. Snake in the grass. He's an awful human. He's awful. He's a child at best. He looks like look at his face. He just looks like he's getting ready to cry to his damn mother. Like, I'm over him.
Yeah, but the Saudis, not like the Saudis are better. I mean, like the conversation of like Brady said, where's the money going, or like what the people who run the PIF or even are involved with Live have like done in the like that conversation is basically totally dropped off.
Well,
and
two things to that point though. If you don't like where the money's coming from, then stop putting gas in your car. Stop buying your Apple iPhones. I mean, it's a hard hill to die on, because if you really don't like the money, then I could go through your house and tell you. I bet a lot of little children made your stuff. Let's put it that way. All right.
I have options. I have options where I'm going to play golf. I can play golf on the PGA Tour and not take that money. Yeah, my fuel is going to come from over there because that's where our United States resources are right now, unfortunately.
Yes, but also we don't really know where the PGA Tour is getting their money from, because they were sitting in a whole bunch of it, and I don't think all of it's clean. There's no way.
That's fair. I'm just saying the people who are running Live are not clean, and I know that.
True, but and another thing that I saw in the interview with Bryson is he was talking about Al Sahir. Is that his name? Does that get that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah, there's Al Saror, and then there's a couple different people.
It could be Saror. I don't know. But the idea for it was putting money back. They have this vision of how things should be in their country. And this is part of it as far as trying to put money back into it. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying what they're doing, the money's clean or any of that stuff. But if they truly do put that money into Saudi Arabia and building legitimate communities here, you know what I mean? I mean, this is yeah. You know, then again, you can make the same argument for the United States. I'm not going to get political here. If you want to look where our money's coming from, who's paying our politicians and all of these things here, it's unfortunately, this is just how the world works. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But I can't think of one single person that is in charge of, you know, a major sport or something like that, or a politician that has not taken dirty money at least once. They're all guilty. All the money is dirty. You can't have billions of dollars and it all be clean.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're just exaggerating the Saudi thing because it's an easy target. But I would love to see the receipts for the PGA Tour, where all that money's coming from and what it trails back to, because that's why they stopped the court battle, because all their dirty laundry is going to come out.
And I don't necessarily disagree. I think where the argument stems from, again, we don't really, this is not a political podcast, but like Live Golf is tied directly into the Public Investment Fund, which is just like basically a never-ending slush fund for that government. It would be a different conversation if the PGA Tour had just a slush fund at Fort Knox and it was just like the Gold Depository runs the PGA Tour. I think we would have a more like tomato argument. Though I totally agree with you, PGR, in that the United States is doing horrendous things right now as we speak
with your money
that could be considered just as bad of a war crime or a crime against humanity. And we can go down the list of the bad things that we've done throughout history too. So we certainly are not innocent. I think it's the closeness of the golf to the country that is a huge issue, as opposed to, and it could be like just maybe it's not a reality. Maybe it's just our vision. Maybe the United States government and the PGA Tour are a little closer connected blood money wise than we realize. Maybe it's just a perception thing. I think that is where the argument is made. I also think, to Brady's point of like, I have options, like Jon Rahm is not going to be poor if he stays on the PGA Tour. It's not like he goes on the PGA Tour and is like, well, it was an honest day's work, but I really struggled to pay my mortgage. I think that too is kind of an interesting point of like, oh, it was a great business decision for Jon Rahm. Like, yeah, I mean, like we said, we all would probably take the $600 million.
Yeah.
But there has to be something there, because it's just like, you are doing fine. Like, you have a mansion and all the money you'll ever need. So like, it's not one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm going to put in an honest day's work and shoot, I could be rich or I could just do the right thing. either way they were going to be it. So I think that those parts are, like you said, more just confusing for me. Like I end up more confused, but
I think it's the generational wealth thing. I think it's setting up your family for the rest of eternity. And I think it has something to do with, and I want to say being a man, but I think it has something to do with like, hey, guess what? Your great 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 grandpa did this, and now we're set for life. You know what I mean? If I had the opportunity to do that for my kids and their kids' kids and their kids and their kids, I mean, yeah, I have enough to maybe supply 1 or 2 generations. But now you're telling me I get 6 or 7. My family's taken care of. Like, I mean, we kind of have this inclination to provide, like that just that gets it all revved up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going through $24 million in 2 generations, then we got to talk about your spending habits. But that's fine.
You get what I'm saying here.
Yeah, no, I do. All right, let's get our picks out before we all abandon each other here. Sony Open. Looking at picks, it's not a star-studded field by any stretch, so there are some good players.
We're all 0-1 right now.
We're all 0-1. Our boys did not win the PNC.
All right, I have my pick.
All right, go.
Yeah, go
Corey
ahead.
Connors.
Who?
Corey Connors.
Corey Connors.
He has a good record there. It means the beginning of the season. I think we're kind of throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks. But yeah, Corey Connors and that Chase kid. It's his rookie debut. Damn, what? How do you say his name?
Sebehe.
Adrian Demont de Chassart is the dark horse pick for me. I know we're not doing that, but I'm just saying it here now because I'm saying watch this kid. If he does win, booyah. I should get like half a point.
That'd be fun. I'll give you half a point since you called him out.
Been watching this kid for like 2 years, man. I'm like, come on, let's go.
All right. Brady, who you got?
I got Brian Harmon. I didn't watch last week, but I'm basing this pick off his 5th place finish, 4 shots back at the Sentry. So hopefully he stays hot and has a good round this week.
I was thinking about picking him. He played well last week. I watched him. He's a little lefty dude. He's fun to watch.
He
that
is
giant effing putter he has.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go, I'm famous for dark. I'm going to go Kiz, and here's why. He has not done much the last year or so, but he's been on a really long break, and he's coming off a high of broadcasting. So I feel like he's just like, I'm in Hawaii. I just had a ton of fun. I'm hopefully back into it. Mostly just because I love Kevin Kisner, and I just want him to do well so badly. I also know he's like 39 years old, and he's clearly on the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just hoping for a little Kiz magic in Hawaii where, if we're honest, the field is not as tough as maybe the Sentry would have been, or a place where he's not going to compete. So I think he has a chance.
That'd be awesome. What a storyline. He broadcasts one week and wins the next.
Bingo. That would be epic.
That would be awesome.
I like those picks. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun tournament to watch. It's fun watching people start at the beginning of the season because you're like, oh, who's building momentum? Who's looking good? Who's looking like trash? You know what I mean? So, when's Riviera? Riviera is not next week. It's the following week, right? Is it the last week of the month? Last weekend of the month?
I'm not positive.
Well, the Genesis is February 16th.
Wait, what? I thought Tiger had to start in January, didn't he?
I think the Genesis Invitational is not till February 16th.
Oh, I do not want to wait that long for Tiger.
Nobody does. That's the problem. We want to know what he's wearing. That's the frustrating part. I could see. I mean, if I was smart, I would take Sahith Theegala because he was 2nd place last week, and the dude just is always around. But I'm going to go Kiz anyway, just because I want him to win.
I'm mad I didn't pick Theegala.
Locked in.
He's such a good pick. He's such a good guy. I mean, the dude is so good.
Did you see the statistic of you bet $50 on Scheffler at the beginning of his stretch to be in the top 10, and you let that ride for 10 weeks, you would have made $50,000 or $500,000, something stupid like that?
Yeah.
It's just crazy how much he's around. He's just always in the top 5. It's sick.
He can't putt.
But he's always, and isn't that crazy that he's still there? Anyways.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating.
I don't understand why more of these guys don't play back-to-back weeks in Hawaii. Like, are you too good to play in Hawaii 2 weeks in a row? Like, it's Hawaii. Why not just stay there and play golf?
I know. When I was trying to figure out who I was going to pick, I searched a few different guys, and the first 3 people I searched weren't playing. They played last week and aren't playing this week. I was like, what the heck? I thought it was an automatic thing. If you're in Hawaii, you might as well go back to back.
People pay thousands of dollars to play that much golf in Hawaii, and you're just like, I'm too good for that.
I mean, they kind of can walk onto any course in the world whenever they want. Like,
jerk asses. All right, well, anything else before we sign off?
That's all I got.
All right. All right, well, that is our episode. Happy New Year to everybody. We're excited to be back. Expect us to, I know we keep saying this, but I expect us to be more regular from here on out. We're done with the holidays.
Yep.
So bar none, full speed ahead in 2024. We're excited about it. So
yay.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. You know all the things, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.